Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. This time we're going to call our May 2nd Board of Supervisors meeting to order. Mr. Slay is going to pray for us.
Yes, Father, thank you for the privilege that we have to serve our fellow citizens. Thank you for these gentlemen who have made sacrifices and their families, Lord, so that they might serve. I pray, Father, that you will equip them today with the wisdom they need to make good and wise decisions. Lord, help us all to understand our responsibility to look out for our fellow man, Father, to make this community all that it can be. And Lord, we acknowledge and we thank you for, we give gratitude for all of the many ways that you have blessed our community. We would be remiss, Lord, if we took that for granted. Thank you for what you do for us in Christ's name.
Amen. Amen. See, we have no public comment?
No public comment.
All right. We have on our agenda Mr. Bobby Armstrong. And Robert McIntyre. I guess y'all are together.
Yes, sir. Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
As you know, we were previously discussing the opportunity to apply for a conditional use permit on land owned by Mr. McIntyre with the idea of hauling dirt from that pit on Mount Hill Road. And as everyone knows, there were many concerned citizens that live on this road that have been affected by the hauling on the road that have expressed their concerns about this. They, as you know, asked for a rerouting of the traffic on Mount Helm Road, and it seems that can't be done. And talked to Mr. McIntyre. I've talked to a lot of people that live on Mount Helm Road, and I've talked to them about their concerns, and you know, they have some valid concerns. And so with the understanding that rerouting can't be accomplished, you know, what we are requesting now, that as a part of my application, that I would commit to operate my pit only on certain hours that would be designated as Monday through Friday from 6:30 a.m. to 6:30 p.m., Saturday from 6:30 a.m. to 3 p.m., and no hauling on Sundays or any other time after that. The hauling that was done at night for several months was something that was really distressing. Not only did they have hauling all day, but they had difficulty sleeping because of the traffic that occurred during the night time and some of the incidents that occurred with trucks even turning over. I think this kind of brought things to a head. As another condition of my application, I would commit to control the dust by keeping the road watered during dusty periods, and that I would commit to continually having an understanding with trucks that hauled from my pit concerning speeding. That if they couldn't abide by the rules, then they would not be permitted, you know, to haul dirt from my pit. Handling the dust is a fairly simple matter. You know, that involves a water truck and just some diligence. The speeding is an issue that, you know, people have commented to me that y'all have made a difference. That the presence of the Sheriff's Department out there from time to time has made a difference. Hasn't stopped it all together, but it's made a big difference. You know, I've looked into, or like to continue to look into other things that might be done. I don't know what the cost of these radar guns that you see like on Spillway Road and other places where they post, you know, your speed is so and so. But having one of those positioned at each end of the road as people exit Lakeland Drive and as they come back into the residential part of Meltham Road from the pits, would be, a good reminder. And I don't know what something like that would cost, but, I'm willing to look into that and participate in the cost of that. Trash falling from trailers and open trucks is another big concern, and that has nothing to do with my pit, but it's just a big concern that's been forwarded to me in my discussions with the people that live on Meltham Road. So it's my understanding from my discussions with Mr. McIntyre and some of the people that live there that it appears that their concerns are beginning to be addressed and noticed, and that if these can continue to be monitored and their voices heard, that they could live with that, I guess. So this, from a personal standpoint, is at this point in my life probably the most important decision that I'll ever be affected by. Having a source for dirt to run my company with, as opposed to having to buy it from other pits on Meltham Road, is paramount to me being able to operate a profitable business. I'm a small businessman. I've been running this business for some 44 years. I'm not a wealthy person. I'm not a connected person. I don't have influential friends or people in high places. I'm just a small contractor running a mom and pop operation, and I'm not perfect, but I believe I have a good reputation. I try to do things as right as I can, and I need this opportunity. The truth of the matter is, as I've said before, this is where the dirt's coming from. Whether I'm allowed to haul from Mr. McIntyre's land or whether I have to buy it from one of the other pits there, the traffic is going to be the same. But I am making a commitment that I haven't seen anybody else on Meltham Road make, which is to get personally involved in addressing these issues that people have, and that's all I can do. My fate is in your hands. I have some other ideas about things that could be done out there to help the people there that I'm going to be looking into, but there's no use in talking about that since I can't say that I can accomplish this. But I'm looking at some other things. The people have told me that they've lost things that they used to enjoy. They used to walk up and down Meltham Road late in the afternoons. They can't do that now. Kids used to ride their bikes up and down Meltham Road like kids are prone to do in any subdivision. And they can't do that any longer. Really been affected by this period of time where trucks have been hauling at night, but hopefully that's over with, and hopefully they won't have to deal with that. But I'm looking into the possibility of doing my part, spearheading a campaign to possibly have a park created on Meltham Road that would give these people and their children a place to go to that is away from crowded Meltham Road. I don't know how hard that's going to be or what all is going to be involved in that, but I'm looking into it.
Hey, Mr. Armstrong, we kind of need to get going here. Mr. McIntyre, you have anything you'd like to say?
Well,
I support the application Mr. Armstrong has made for the dirt pit under those conditions that he listed. That he controls the traffic and he controls the dust. We have no complaint against Bobby Armstrong. He hadn't produced any traffic yet on Mount Hill Road. So, but we are confident that he will do what he says. And because as far as the land, it's already produced to no use to me. Because you've enclosed me with 2 dumps already. So, the best use for it is now either a dump or a dust pit. So, so therefore we consider this an opportunity. At least it's the first semblance of some order and discipline and the traffic up and down Mount Hill Road. Control the dust, control the speed, and we'll be happy.
And although this is certainly not my business or place, but, you know, I would encourage that these sort of restrictions be placed on anybody that's hauling on Mount Hill Road. I think they're reasonable, and I think they go a long way toward helping the people on Mount Hill Road have some sense of normalcy in their lives. But, appreciate your time. Anybody have any questions?
Guess not. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, next on our agenda, we have old business. To have a motion to approve the minutes from April 15th and 18th.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Morrow,
Second.
second by Mr. Cross. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Okay, we're going to pull one item from our consent, number 2E. And with that said, do I have a motion to approve consent?
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Morrow, second by Mr. Cross. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Ms. Fortenberry.
Thank you, gentlemen. I have a request to void the 2013 tax sales the following and refund the tax sale purchaser for PIN numbers 37478, 36621, 36935, 38284, 37121, 14526, and 36720.
Motion approved.
Motion by Mr. Morrison,
Second.
second by Mr. Cross. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Thank you.
Thank you, Judy. Come on, Raymond.
All right, you have a petition for change for assessment of 2015 real property assessment.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Morrow,
Second.
second by Mr. Cross. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Good job, Raymond. Miss Harry.
Good morning.
Morning.
My first item this morning, I'm recommending that we award the bid for one or more backhoes to JWH Equipment. Unit price $96,995.
Motion approved.
Motion by Mr. Morrison,
Second.
second by Mr. Marr. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
And my items B and C can be taken together. I'm requesting approval of a copier contract with RICO for the Chancery Clerk's Office and one with Southern Duplicating for the Tax Assessor's Office.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Morrow,
Second.
second by Mr. Morrison. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you, Bridget. Mr. Milner.
I make motion to approve work accomplished and work scheduled. Second.
Motion by Mr. Morrison, second by Mr. Marr. Any discussion? Did you actually have anything to give us? I mean, I'm kidding. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Mr. Parker.
Yes, I'm on the way.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have three items on the agenda today. The first two, items A and item B, are state aid programs, which I had given all of you a copy of those. One of them is a SAP project, and one is a LSRP project. Now, you'll notice in those numbers in there, the program number, there's a blank there on each one of them. And the reason for that is, if you approve this and y'all sign it today, then I will get it off to state aid. They will review the program. If they agree to it, then they will assign the numbers or letters that will go in those blanks. They won't assign those until they have reviewed the programs. So this morning, I would recommend approval of project program number LSRP 61 blank and state aid project SAP 61 blank.
I make a motion to approve both these state aid programs.
Motion by Mr. Morrison. Second by Mr. Cross. Any discussion? This is for our next 4 years of.
That's correct.
Right.
That's correct. We're going to be overlaying between 35 and 40 miles of roadway in the county, hopefully. And it's scattered, believe it or not, it's scattered out all over the county, which I had a map attached.
Well, I would believe that. I hope,
I don't. Am I seeing any in District 4? Maybe one.
I know the feeling. I know the feeling. Yeah.
Now, explain that there's certain criteria that only certain roads meet to qualify for some of this too.
Yes, sir. Well, basically,
it's used only certain.
Well, they gotta be state aid routes.
Roads, right?
Yeah.
yes, and the SAP project is based virtually on our state aid inspection that was performed.
Right.
So we follow up with that and do what state aid is recommending be done. Did you have, what were you saying, you didn't have anything?
Had a minimum amount in District 4, but I found it. Weak attempted humor. Well, it's not really that much humor.
I know it.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. All right.
Thank you. The third item that I have on the agenda, here a while back, the board authorized us to prepare a contract for guardrail installation and repair, which we have done that now. And it's based on two things. One, comments that state aid has made about where guardrails have been damaged here, there, and yonder, or other things that happen. You'd be surprised how many bolts disappear from guardrails on roadways.
Bolts?
I mean, it bolts. But anyway, just a lot of things. And during our inspections with state aid, they address these. So part of what this is from state aid comments, and the remainder of it is from the previous road manager, Mr. Dale Westbrook, had observed several locations in the county where the guardrail needed to be replaced.
Mm-hmm.
So we have prepared a contract to take bids on that. And it could be a little bit of an expensive contract. I'm not sure yet, depending on the contractors that bid, but this thing could run possibly $100,000 to $125,000 on a guardrail.
So can we divide it? Does it have to be all inclusive?
Well, you can bid it, and you don't even have to accept the bid if you don't want to. Is that what you're getting at?
No, you're talking about split,
Yeah.
do part of it.
Right.
Or for over the next few years instead of all in 1 year.
Well,
Yeah, yes, sir. You can do that if you'd like.
well, there's not. How many companies that even do this? One?
On something like this, we know you get one bid and possibly two or three others, a couple of more anyway. But I can't guarantee that.
Yeah.
But we can do it any way that y'all want to do it as a general rule on something like this. Let's say you cut it half and said, well, let's just do these and do those. your pricing on the guardrail is not going to be as good. They're going to look at it at volume when they order the guardrails that they need. So,
True.
yeah, could be a negative, but that's y'all's call.
Now, are there some worse than others? I mean, I guess that's why, only reason you could kind of, prioritize, I guess, is what they're referring to.
Well, yes, sir, of course, the damaged guardrail, excuse me, is a damaged guardrail. So to answer your question, obviously, there would be some that are a little bit worse than others, definitely. But,
Okay, so the answer is no.
well, no, well, I did not say no. You're putting words in my mouth, Mr. President.
I say go out for bid, let's just see what the cost is.
We got a motion by Mr. Morris to advertise.
Second.
Second by Mr. Morris. Any more discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
I oppose. Ayes have it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Slay.
Morning, gentlemen. Item A is to set a public hearing June 6, 2016. Actually, items A and B, Mr. President, we could take those together to set public hearings June 6, 2016, 9 a.m. Robert Wall Jr. dimensional variance request, Sonny Beatty conditional use permit. I would ask we do A and B together as one motion.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Mr. Cross, second by
Second.
Mr. Morris. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Ayes have it.
Next item is item C, public hearing on the Jamie McCafferty conditional use permit at Mount Helm Road, District 4 property. Mr. McCafferty has announced this morning that he wants to change his request from a description of modular housing to manufactured housing. If you've got any questions about that, we can get Renee to help us walk through that. But he's made that request, so it would be different from what the application actually said. So he would be asking to be allowed to amend his application. I think that's probably more of a distinction without a difference in this particular circumstance, as both of those can be approved for the same requested relief. Okay? So it just really comes down to aesthetics, I guess you would say. He is seeking a conditional use permit to place a manufactured house on Mount Helm Road. He plans to buy 2 acres of a 9.34 acre parcel that is vacant. It's currently zoned RE1. This time we'll open that public hearing. I'll ask if there's anyone here to speak in opposition to the Jamie McCafferty conditional use permit. Anyone? Mr. President, I don't see anyone here to speak in opposition. Unless you guys have questions of Mr. McCafferty, we'll close that public hearing. It'd be appropriate to take action.
Have a motion one way or another?
I have a question. Is this a new manufactured home or?
So what
Here
the
come.
original plan was for the modular.
Bring him up.
James, come up here. You'll tell, give your name and address for the record, please.
My,
Name and address.
all right, my name is Jamie McCafferty, 182 Dogwood Circle, Brandon. The original plan was for the modular home and be done. And then I guess a few weeks ago, me and the wife were talking about just getting a cheaper manufactured home and building in the next year or two. And that being said, also, the stipulation from the Miss Shirley that we're buying the land from now, within this year, we're going to buy 2 more. So that'll be my 4 right there.
2 more what?
Acres, sorry.
Oh,
That'll be 4 acres right there. That'll be mine. No plans to subdivide, none of that stuff. Possibly selling when the house is done, selling the trailer and just getting it out of there, or maybe for one of the kids. So it's kind of up to you guys. I mean, I started this as a modular home. Hopefully, we can change it to a manufactured, but if not, I'm stuck with it.
what problems are you gonna run into leaving it there?
Well, he said he would not be selling or subdividing any land, that either somebody would buy the home and remove it from the property, or he would still own the land and let one of his children live in the future. That's what he said.
Okay.
So he's not planning on selling any.
It's gonna be a new mobile home.
Not quite sure yet. Not quite sure yet.
Okay.
Since it is a conditional use, you can insert appropriate conditions on the use. Conditions such as has to be used only for family purposes, that obviously on the record, to hear that there's not going to be any subdividing is a good thing. That helps to alleviate some of the issues that we have consistently with our public road access. So that's an appropriate condition, no further subdividing. If you would prefer, you're always allowed or authorized to allow this manufactured home to be placed here with the understanding that there is an end point, a termination date where there would be a new home on the property. You could do that. You could give him plenty of time to get everything together, suggesting maybe the condition would be for 3 years to allow him to be able to construct a home on the site and then remove the home, the manufactured home. So if that helps, those are ways that we have typically addressed in the past.
It's not necessary to re-advertise this because we're going from,
Either can be done as a conditional use. The difference is modular homes are built to the building code. They're built in a factory, but they're inspected by the fire marshal's office. That's modular homes are built in a factory. They're inspected by the fire marshal, and they're built to building codes. Manufactured homes are, they meet HUD specifications. And so they come with a sticker on them saying that, they meet the HUD standards. So that's the difference in the two.
And that sticker cost about $39,000.
Well, he's saying a modular home is going to cost him $39,000 more dollars.
To get everything set down right.
But those are looked at as a permanent structure, modulars.
would 3 years give you enough time to,
I don't see why not.
I make a motion to limit it to 3 years, and, you've said no subdividing, and I would say if you build even though it's 4 acres, I'm leery about putting several houses, 2 or even 3 homes that close together. I think
It requires
2?
an acre.
1 acre?
Mhm.
Okay.
So-
Well, and you're not gonna subdivide.
No, it'll all be me and my family.
Well, some people have a large family.
I do have a large family, but I'm not trying to move them all there.
Probably best.
Well, I would make a motion that we do this conditional use for 3 years, and then, in that time, you be getting some foundation going for a
Yeah.
house.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Gaines, second by Mr. Morrow. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Next item is the public hearing on the Deborah Henry conditional use permit, 3330 Nikki Lane, this District 4 property. We'll open that public hearing. Ms. Henry is seeking a conditional use permit to construct a guest house at 3330 Nikki Lane. She has an existing home on the property. Her daughter will be moving into the existing home, and Ms. Henry will occupy the guest house. It's a 9-acre parcel zoned RE1. This time, that hearing is open. I'll ask if there's anyone here to speak in opposition to the Deborah Henry conditional use permit. Anyone speak in opposition? Mr. President, I don't see anyone stepping forward. We'll close that hearing and be appropriate to take action.
Make a motion, we accept it.
Motion by Mr. Gaines, second by Mr. Morrow to approve. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Next item is a public hearing on the Zachary Ainsworth conditional use permit, 1071 Cato Road, District 3 property. We'll open that public hearing. Mr. Ainsworth is seeking a conditional use permit to store materials for his railroad and timber company business on the property located at 1071 Cato Road. The equipment will be stored in an existing metal building on the property. He's recently cleared an area on the west side of his property that he plans to utilize for storage of materials in the future. It's a 20-acre parcel zoned A2.
That hearing's open. I'll ask if there's anyone here to speak in opposition to the Zachary Ainsworth conditional use permit. Anyone? Mr. President, I don't see anyone here to speak in opposition to that matter. We'll close that public hearing and be appropriate to take action.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Morris, second by Mr. Morris. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Next item is the public hearing on the Tanya Minor conditional use permit, Joe Myers Road, District 2 property. We'll open that public hearing. Ms. Minor is seeking a conditional use permit to place a 1999 16 by 76 manufactured home on Joe Myers Road. It's a 12-acre parcel family property. Property is zoned R1B. There are 2 other homes on the property. That hearing is open. I'll ask if there's anyone here to speak in opposition to the Tanya Minor conditional use permit. Anyone? Mr. President, I don't see anyone stepping forward. We'll close that public hearing. This time it'd be appropriate to take action.
I'll make that motion, Mr. President, to approve.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Cross, second by Mr. Marr to approve. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Next item is the public hearing on the Mary Leon Berger conditional use permit, 443 7th Day Road. This is District 1 property. Ms. Leon Berger is seeking a conditional use permit to place a 2016 16 by 78 manufactured home on the property located at 443 7th Day Road. The manufactured home will be owned by Ms. Leon Berger's sister. Her sister previously lived on the property in a manufactured home, but moved away to be close to her job. This is a 2-acre parcel zoned RE1A, and this will be the second dwelling on the property. I'll ask, that hearing is open. I'll ask if there's anyone here to speak in opposition to the Mary Leon Berger conditional use permit request. Anyone?
I make a motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Marson,
Second.
second by Mr.
I know
Marr.
you're fixing to close.
Yeah, we'll close it. We'll go ahead and close it real quick.
Okay. Second by Mr. Marr. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Next item is the public hearing on the Aaron Uthoff conditional use permit, 270 Green Hill Road, District 1. That hearing's open. Aaron Uthoff is seeking a conditional use permit to place a 2013 32 by 80 manufactured home on the property located at 270 Green Hill Road. It's a 3.30 acre parcel zoned RE1A. His father has an existing home on the property. That hearing's open. I'll ask if there's anyone here to speak in opposition to the Aaron Uthoff conditional use permit. Anyone? Ford. State your name and address.
James Moore, 274 Green Hill Road. We bought this land about 10 years ago, wanting to be out of a subdivision and not being in a trailer park. Our property, our house is located in the middle of the property. When we bought the property, it was supposed to be 5 years or younger, double wides, with skirting, porches, and rooftops. We was first to buy land there. We was the last to move because it took so long for our house to be built. We bought built a 2,100 square foot house in the middle of the property, hoping to be out of a subdivision. The Utahs moved a trailer right in the front. Their land is the skinniest of the property of the 8 sections, and now they're wanting to put a piece of property in the back. Both of our privacy in the front and the back will be gone. Plus I have a pond in the backyard. I know they have smaller children, and I fear that they may go into the pond. They come up and play with my son at times, and they have in the recent years. If it is allowed that he does put a trailer back there, I need for the cupboard in the front where they're putting the driveway, because it's going to be holding water in my front property.
Say it again. Explain that again now.
They're putting a driveway up the side of the property line, and they put a cupboard, and it's got natural drainage in the front yard. The way that the cupboard's positioned at this point, it's going to wind up holding water in my property. So if they are allowed to put this trailer back there, it's going to be looking right out my back door. If I wanted to move in a subdivision, I would have moved there. To start with, we've moved all of our access, all of our privacy has been interrupted in the front. So we've gravitated to the backyard for our privacy. Give them privacy in the front, give ourselves privacy in the rear. So at this point, we're looking out of our back door at the property line. He also stated that he would be farther back, which he's not. So as soon as I walk out my back door and be looking right at his property, he's going to be able to look right in my back door. If he is allowed to put that, I need for someone from the county to come by, look at his culvert for the drainage, so that way my front yard won't be a pond itself. And also possibly even put up a privacy fence, where they can put a privacy fence from their property all the way down.
The culvert that you're referring to, is that coming off the road?
No, sir. They have got a driveway that's on their side of the
Okay.
property line.
Right.
It comes down to the trailer that's in the front yard. It makes a deep swell down in the front of the property, on both of our property line. The drainage comes from up the hill off of my side of the property back down,
Okay.
from the McGee's and off of 7-Day Road. So when it goes down through there, he's put a culvert, and the culvert's already letting water back up on my side of the property. I was definitely appreciative that he did put the culvert in to start with before the rain came in last week, or I would have a nice pond in the front yard by now. So, but the driveway is going to be going up the property line between our two properties, and the other factor of that is all the dust coming off of the driveway.
All right, I'm familiar with where it is, so the water drains kind of to the east,
Yes, sir.
I mean west. But
It runs off of 7-Day Road down.
but it's draining then to the east onto your property?
It's draining from my property to his,
I know, but it's not draining.
but it's not going to be draining with the way the culvert's positioned in the
Okay,
driveway.
that's
he's
what
putting
I
in.
couldn't understand. If it's
Yeah.
in a natural
It's a natural swell there.
swell, then why would it not be draining? That's what I was.
But his culvert, the way that it's positioned, it's already starting to back up.
Okay.
Keep my property wet there.
Okay. All right.
I'm trying to understand the layout. How many acres are there? For each one, or?
No, total, he has a 3.3 acre tract, and his father does have an existing home out on the front of the property.
Yeah, I'd like to see it.
Say the existing home in the area. It's a deep lot.
So this is the road here.
That's the road.
So that's the existing one.
That's the
Is
existing
this
one.
his house here?
That's the other one, this one. He's saying he's gonna extend that driveway on back to some.
Where's this gentleman's house?
He's saying it's on, this piece right here. I guess that's it.
Okay.
You need?
Yeah, let me take a glance at that. This is where he lives, right? That's the one that's existing? This is where he lives, and it's extended back. Just coming in his property.
Yeah. Have you seen this?
I think I know.
I figured you did, but I sure didn't.
He lives right here. That's the one that existed and come back.
Yeah, he's gonna come back here.
Yeah, that's where he is. He gets his house right here.
I'd like him to come up and address.
Okay.
Okay, I don't have anything, any other questions yet.
Give you an opportunity. Give us your name and address. Thank you.
My name's Aaron Utah, 270 Green Hill Road in Florence. What we're doing is, I got Neely Trucking and Excavating. They do site work all around Jackson, Hines, Rankin County. We do storm drainage and all that. The culvert that we put in, we actually put in 2 culverts in the roadway, in the driveway. It's a 36-inch at the front, and it's a 36-inch by his pond. His pond was leaking. I said, well, we're going to try to throw some dirt on it, but he's got trees planted on it, so it's going to continue to leak through the roots that's on the levee. So I went ahead and covered me and put a culvert by the pond. Also a culvert up front. Now the water, yes, it does haul tail down the hill, because the way it goes is mine comes down and I'm in the bottom. and it comes off of me onto my neighbor. It's not backing up at all, really. It's coming, but it's just not going as fast as it used to go off the property. It had nothing to go through. It was just straight natural ground running out. Now it's being funneled into a 36-inch drain pipe coming through. So it's not like it's backing up way on his property. He's got a ditch and a swell on his property that stays wet because the same problem I have of water coming off of Seventh Day and all the neighbors up there off Seventh Day coming down, which I've dealt with it and cut the grass and had to do all that with it. It's no problem. The reason why I want to put a house in the back, I got 4 kids and I got my dad. My dad, he's got cancer. He does chemo and all that. He's had a heart bypass surgery, kidney transplant, and now he's on chemo. I want to put him back in this trailer of his and put mine in the back so he could be close. And it's a 16 by 80 existing mobile home there that me and my 4 kids have kind of outgrown. You know, imagine 4 kids between 9 and 6 living in that. So what we're doing is we're getting a 32 by 80 and putting in the back so Dad could live there and we could have a bigger place. And the dust, it's only going to be dust temporary because it's dirt work. I mean, you're going to have dust. And it's rain, so we're not working over there right now, but it's going to be slag put on the driveway or concrete put on the driveway. And the fence issue, I mean, if he wants to go in on half of the fence, I'll be more than happy to help him with a fence if that's his big concern. I have no problem with that. I just didn't feel that it would be a problem as our kids play together. You know, it's never been an issue. And as far as his pond, he's had that pond there for years, and my kids always go back there and play. So they ain't drowned yet. I don't believe they're going to drown because they can swim. But I feel, you know, everything will be fine. And I was planning on putting the trailer further back, but the further I go back, the lower my elevation is and the more water I'd be fighting. And it would just not be financially feasible for me to put it back there.
So have you got the authority approval from the health department yet?
All I've done is started the dirt work and all that. That's as far as I've got.
So you not got anything from the health department?
I think so. I have to ask my wife or
Okay.
them.
You know, just in order to be able to put a second dwelling, the ground water table on the ground needs to, you know, be able to support it.
Well, my second, it's on a hill, is where I got it now. It's well above the water table. I'm 10, 20 feet above the water table.
You're adding a second one. I was just asking, have you got the approval from the health department? Because if we approve it and they don't, this is for naught.
Right. Well, my first time buying a home, I ain't got a clue.
I got you.
All I do is say, can I start my dirt work? They say, yeah, go for it.
Yeah.
You know, I start moving from there, and whatever else they tell me I need to do, I do.
Renee, what part is that all supposed to play in?
Well, before he can get his permit for the mobile home, he'll have to have his septic tank treatment
Right.
plan approval from the health department.
Right.
So if he, like you said, if he doesn't get it, then this was for naught.
So you shouldn't, right, okay, you need.
But he does have 3.5 acres.
Yeah, I got a treatment plan. It's not a septic tank. They got
Right.
treatment plants out there, our place, where it's all sprinkler heads and runs out and aerates.
Well, what can be done about the water that he feels like is pooling up to work that out?
Mr. Jared, all I think I could do is put a bigger culvert in, but this culvert we got in is actually way more bigger than what needs to be there. I could put a bigger one in if that'll pacify it.
I mean, I didn't know whether it could be some type of dirt work to help it funnel into it better, or I didn't know.
Well, it's got like a dirt flume to concentrate the water from when it comes off of his property into my property, which the drain is in my property, and probably the backup he's talking about is right there on our line, where I got the flume and it's pooling right here, you know, right outside the culvert. But I washed it yesterday and the day before with the rain. It's coming on through. You know, you can go out there now.
That's the pool of water you're referring to? This at the culvert, basically?
Yes, sir. It's where it's concentrating into the culvert.
Okay. What could be done there? I'm trying to help both situations here.
Yes, sir. I mean, I could lower it. I mean,
I just would like, I'm trying to help, and I want y'all to be able to continue to be friends and neighbors.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And
It's
I want
nothing-
you to want that kind of thing addressed.
Yes, sir.
It's something like a privacy fence, or it could be something as much as planted vegetation. I mean, we've done that before where it's, I don't even know the name of these trees, but they grow extremely fast.
Yes.
But some type of vegetation, and I'm just trying to see what we can do to work the situation out that'll be, pleasing for him and both
Right.
of you.
Right. I have no objection to anything.
So
I work with him.
I'm asking both of you here, if you're asking for a privacy fence, a fence complete, a whole, like a what, 6-foot fence?
Somewhere or another to give us privacy still in our backyard. Me and AJ's been friends for 10 years or better.
Right.
And we've had our moments, we are neighbors. I have to admit that. But the biggest thing was our privacy in the backyard.
Right.
And we had addressed that whenever he first started dirt work. He said, well, I'm gonna be on back there, you won't even see me. But where it's at now, if I walk out my back door, I'm looking at their.
You're not as far back as you first
It's
thought.
not as far as back.
Right, as I thought I would be. Because the further I go back, the deeper it gets.
You know, we've had discussions about the driveway. He was talking about putting the clay down. That property is so dusty as it is, even having another driveway. And like we had talked about, sometimes we don't know they're even there. And then sometimes it's like Highway 49 with traffic going back and forth, friends coming by. We've had instances in the past where his friends or acquaintances that's cut across my yard. He's dug it down, so hopefully they won't try to lock it in a four-wheel drive and take up the hill. But that was the major concern. That and the pond, before we could see the kids coming, we could watch. I know they can swim. My pond's deep. Did not know that it had a leak until a couple of weeks ago. I'm a firefighter and paramedic. I'm gone 24,
Right.
48 hours at a time. So at the time that I do get home, working part-time jobs and stuff, it's been dark here lately.
Right.
So until it's gotten a little bit better, getting out, looking at my property, trying to clean that up and do stuff for over the winter, going in and round up and around trees, that type of stuff. That's when I noticed the leak on the pond. It's a small trestle, and I'm gonna be fixing it pretty soon. Especially before, it really comes
Right.
in the rain this month.
Well, what can we
Biggest
agree
issue.
to on a fence?
Well, one thing y'all need to understand, if you put a fence up, that's just gonna retain that much more water too, just so
Well, it's
you
been on
aware.
the backside of the property, and it's all nice and healed up back
Okay.
there. As far as the fence being back there, I don't think it would cause any problems with the water there, because everything's up higher, both of our properties go down, and they're pretty steep on the hilltop, the elevation is. But the front yard is the biggest issue. Both of ours go down, and all the water from off of Green Hill flows
Right.
down. From 7 Day flows over to us from the McGee.
Right.
So all that property is flooding down. During the rainy months, we can't hardly even cut our front yard up through that ditch line.
Right.
And I've even been thinking about getting the riprap and going ahead and digging that out, put the riprap down. So that way we won't have to worry about cutting it, just cut up to where the wet part is. But the biggest issue is the privacy of the trailer being put where it's at. I'm walking out my back door, looking at one property, I'm walking out my front door, looking at another.
And what can we do about, that sounds like what we're gonna need to work out here to make this happen, is some kind of privacy fence, whether, that's one of the conditions. You have to put it up, or y'all agree to jointly put it up, or whatever, and I'd like to see that worked out.
Okay.
And the other issue that I had when we first moved in, Roland Walker with the water department was talking about the system couldn't handle that many, and we had to pay for extra upgrades. Whether or not this is also gonna cause some type of impact on the water system.
Well, now that would be, that's something that he would have to, I mean, I can't make that call or say, know anything about that. But the fence, that's the condition that I'd like to see put in here, and I'd like to see to address the water situation that you're worried about pooling there.
I can
And
put-
you got the means and everything, I know y'all can
Yes, sir.
correct that.
Yes,
So
sir. I could
that's-
put riprap there and lower it. and that way it
Whatever
won't
needs to be
pool.
done, I want that, I'd like to see that done, and I'd like to see something addressed as far as fence. I'm not, I mean, that's gonna do, fence or, well, if privacy fence is what he feels like would be the best thing for then I understand your privacy issue. Then I think we need to work toward that to make this, happen, and I feel like y'all surely can work this out with you, being neighbors, so,
I'll split it with him, whatever he wants to put up, but I don't feel I should be responsible for putting the whole
well,
privacy fence up
I'm
myself.
not sure if he's, how many feet are we talking about?
My property, my house is about 300 feet, at least about 200 to 300 feet back, just to keep our privacy down the side where the driveway is, and also where he's gonna be putting his trailer.
Would that be something you'd entertain?
That would be something I'd entertain.
Okay. All right then. Okay, I'm good. Okay.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
You gotta understand, it's a tough deal. You want people to have a place to live. You want a lot of things, but you need to try to work out to be neighborly, work it where everybody's happy, and that makes it tough.
Is there anyone else speak on this matter? Okay. Mr. President, this time we will close that public hearing. It'd be appropriate to take action.
Okay, I make a motion to approve, but with the conditions that Mr. Utoff will do what's needed to do at the drainage, with the drainage situation that we talked about, and they'll put a privacy fence up, and I think they both have said they would work out something, agree to share that, and I don't know really how it's worded other than that.
That's all right. Ms. Renee will help us with
And we
that.
have it on the,
Make sure it's
we have it on the record that it's been agreed to.
okay.
Second.
All right, we got a motion by Mr. Morrison, second by Mr. Morrow. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Next item is the Ryan Murphy Real Estate LLC conditional use permit. We'll open that public hearing. Mr. Murphy is seeking, and his LLC are seeking a conditional use permit to park equipment, trucks, and trailers on the property of 149 Stoll Road. Mr. Murphy owns a landscape and construction company. There's an existing metal building on the property. It's used for storage, and the parking lot is slag. This is a 39.09 acre parcel, Zone C2. That hearing is open. I'll ask if there's anyone here to speak in opposition to the Ryan Murphy Real Estate LLC conditional use permit. Mr. President, I don't see anyone stepping forward. At this time, we'll close that public hearing to be appropriate to take action.
Mr. President, I make that motion to approve.
Motion by Mr. Cross to approve, second by Mr. Morrow. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it.
Next item is the continuation of the Clifton Rogers Jr. conditional use permit, 252 Clover Valley Road, District 4 property, and the property at Mount Helm Road. Mr. Rogers is seeking a conditional use permit for the Five Star Lodge, which is an events venue operating at 252 Clover Valley Boulevard. The application states the lodge, pavilion, and cabin A are used for weddings, family reunions, church retreats, and retirement functions. Cabin B, shed A, shed B, and a shop building are used for the hunting camp and members only. It's a 250-acre tract of property zoned RE1. We will reopen that public hearing. I'll ask if there's anyone here to speak on the matter of the Clifton Rogers Jr. conditional use permit. I know that Mr. Rogers is here. Mr. Gaines, I'm sure you have some questions, others may as well. So that hearing is open. I'll ask Mr. Rogers to step forward.
Morning.
Good morning. How y'all doing?
Good, man. Sounded like our work session went over what some of the things that the permit department discovered. And it might have been a blessing for you that some of this was discovered. Sounds like you're just having some problems with your roof and all that.
Yeah.
So where do we stand currently?
Well, I told them, waiting on to get approved, don't get an architect, guard, thing to spec, get everything done correctly. So.
You making headway on getting rid of the trees?
All that gone.
All of it?
Yeah.
Wow. Great.
Would you, mind if these folks went out there and inspected it?
Huh?
You mind if they go?
Oh, yeah, they go
Set
inspect-
that up with them where they,
Yeah.
where we can get on past that. And then-
Everything with the FOSHA, if you need a ticket, you can talk to them, I paid them with a check, however.
Well, we just need to look at it. We can look at it.
Okay.
You had a list of things, and you know what they are to address as far as, I know some was electrical, some was roof, structural and stuff like that.
He gave me a
You
list,
have all
but
that.
he said the best thing to do, I'm gonna get an architect, come in, draw everything, stuff they
Okay.
don't, they go through the whole building, get it approved, that's the best way to do it. He said they're coming back and forth, you know.
Yes,
We'll get a mechanic in and just
Right.
take care of everything.
Okay.
Just bring everything up to code.
Sounds good.
All right.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Where we are on that particular matter, and before I close the public hearing, just in case there are any additional questions, but sort of logistically where we are is we are in process in addressing the permitting requirements at the Clover Valley Boulevard address. We're addressing that. It's in process. It is still an issue that needs to be dealt with. It sounds like we've had some recent movement on the cleanup of both the Clover Valley site and the Mount Helm site, but we want to address that, eyes on the ground, visuals, to make sure that we're good there. So my suggestion would be that we continue this public hearing for an additional amount of time. How long do you think you guys need? Can we get it to the next meeting?
We've got a sign out on Mount Helm, so John can go and check it today. But a couple of things I want to make sure that we cover is the tree service business is also operating on the property at 252 Mount Helm. The wedding events venue is there, and those cabins now.
Not Mount Helm.
I'm sorry, Clover Valley. We've only looked at one of the cabins. The other one was locked, but there's some issues there too that need to be addressed. So I just want to make sure we cover everything that
Right.
we need to cover.
So the tree service business is at Mount Helm, correct?
Well, it's dumped, the stuff has been dumped on Mount Helm, but he's actually using that shop at Clover Valley to run that business.
Oh.
He's got vehicles there.
Okay.
He's parking his equipment there, working on equipment there.
So what do we need, how does that need to be, I mean, what part of that needs to be addressed?
Not zoned right. Yeah. Problem is, we have residential real estate is where we've got commercial.
Oh, that's what I was
operations being
asking.
operated. So
Okay.
we've got a zoning problem, obviously, so. Yeah, I think as it relates to the tree service business, it's certainly not authorized, and it's a zoning violation for it to be operated out of a residential area. So what would need to happen logistically on that is that there would be a separate action on the Clover Valley site for a conditional use. And possibly we would want to look at suggesting a rezoning to address it long-term. But at any rate, that's kind of where we are. That's not before you. There is no request to be able to operate the commercial tree service out of this residential property. So technically, it needs to stop at Clover Valley, and it needs to relocate to an area where it can be operated. So, but that's not really in front of you.
But in order to help him out, obviously, I think the Mount Helm's going to be prepared and ready for operation a lot sooner than the Clover Valley.
Correct.
So, and we have a public hearing notice. Do we have a date yet, or we are waiting all that to get cleaned up first?
Hearing was continued to today. Today was the day.
Okay, all right.
for the hearing.
Is Mount
Let's
Helm-
continue to do
So
that.
if there was anyone to oppose it, they would have been here to speak to it today.
The sign's been out on both those properties, Mount Helm and Clover Valley.
Okay.
With Mount Helm, is it zoned for the business?
It's not, but when he applied for that conditional use to recycle wood
Right.
waste, it was clear in the application that he stated recycling of wood waste was going to be for firewood, cutting it up.
Right.
And he wanted to sell firewood. The conditions were that it could be only delivery only, that people couldn't come there, but he could cut the firewood and deliver it. He had also asked at that time to, in the future, build a building for his tree service business there. However, he didn't do that. It appears he's gone to Clover Valley, without permission.
And far as the other buildings that we've not been able to inspect, we have to be able to do that. The thing is, like Mr. Bishop was saying, really trying to do this to help you go ahead and get it all taken care of at one time without having to come back piecemeal it.
Yeah. Well, actually, I was trying to think we could deal with Mount Helm and get it off, so because Clover Valley is going to take a little longer. Mr. Rogers, where do you want to operate your business out of?
Well, I'd rather park my trucks down there at the lodge, because I ain't about stealing my saws, breaking in down there. Nobody's going to be on the property, and I'm going to have a problem with people stealing my equipment.
Right.
So if I'm finna build a house down here on Clover Valley, I won't be close to it, because people going to steal my saws if I go down there. It's way in the woods. So.
Yeah.
I don't blame you. I'd rather have my equipment close to me, too.
And the cabinet, the other cabinet is not going to be used by the public. That's my mom's cabinet. So I don't know if it needs to be inspected. Nobody, she don't even let me go.
Well, it's got to be inspected because you built it without a permit. So we need to get in there and make sure that it's up to code and it's safe for her to live there.
Okay, all right.
But what do you want to do with the Mount Helm property now?
I just want to be able to grind my own wood waste limbs and just make topsoil and recycle something.
Okay.
You're gonna come back for that one.
Okay, I can come back with that.
I mean, we got to start that.
No, this is part of it, but we just need to verify all the materials are off of it.
Right. Okay.
And so next month we come back and we'll take up whether we're going to allow you to do the chip in there or not.
On the lodge, I just need to know is y'all gonna go and approve it, because I want to go ahead and get started and get this.
On the lodge?
Yeah.
Well, and that's where we got to do all the inspection part.
Right. Well, all I need is if y'all gonna approve it, I can go ahead and get everything done. I'm finna hire an architect. I don't want to. I'm about to pay him probably $5,000 to draw all this out, then get everything. I just need approval, so I can get that done, get the permit, and get the work started.
You want to know whether? Okay.
Yeah, I just need to know now if y'all getting approved, so I can go ahead and pay the architect this week. He coming out.
Is that something we can do now?
Right. I just need to go ahead.
I think a lot of this is up to you. If you go through the steps and do what they require, then we're going to approve.
We're good.
I did everything they told me to.
Well, we're not through yet. I mean, you hadn't gotten the repairs done. You hadn't gotten it brought up for us to be able to approve.
But we're not going to tell you no, and we're not going to make you go do all this and say no.
Well, see, probably I don't want to do all the repairs, then y'all say you're not going to let me open.
That's what we just said. We're not going to tell you no if you bring it up to code.
So go ahead and bring up the code and everything be good.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and get all the
But
work
now,
done.
as far as the tree service business go, currently you're storing all your vehicles and equipment there.
Right. I just park my trucks and stuff. Not all of them. Some of them is just for my truck with my saws and equipment. I just park them there.
So you're not doing any work on property with that business?
No. It's just where I park my truck at a secure site, and I can. If I did a conditional use, if I need to refile something, I will, or y'all can just add it in.
I think for our purposes today, guys, what we probably should be doing is going ahead on the lodge side of the equation. Let's go ahead and approve that conditional use on the condition that he clears all of the responsibilities that he's going to have to meet all the code requirements.
Okay.
Right.
That's the condition.
All right.
And so, unless y'all are, the other idea would be to continue this, to allow that process to continue moving forward over here, bring it back up in 30 days and approve it at that time. But I think we're almost in a little bit of a circular pattern here, where Mr. Rogers needs to know that he's going to be allowed to use the facility before he wants to sink the money that's going to be required to get it up to code. So if we approve it, conditioned upon it satisfying all the code requirements, I think we'll be okay.
I don't see a problem with that.
Question. As far as events and parties and stuff like that out there at the facility, is it going to be any outdoor, or is this all going to be indoors?
The weddings, I do have outdoor weddings.
I guess I'm getting to there's a subdivision being built right to the south, right to the west of your property.
Right.
And then outdoor parties, outdoor bands, that kind of stuff is going to create a noise problem, I feel sure.
Outdoor weddings, no noise, just come down, low music, that's
right.
it.
But for any kind of parties and stuff like that,
It's
it's gonna be inside the building.
Right, it would be no noise because from the neighbor, which I got enough trees and buffer.
Fireworks and that kind of thing.
And you're not gonna be selling alcohol.
Nah, we got to give that away. You can't sell alcohol.
Well, I think the sheriff brought to your attention a flyer or something, so.
Nah.
Okay.
Now, there's somebody else I let use it. That was just I ain't had nothing to do with that.
Something else.
I let a friend use it for a party, and they did that. so.
Fireworks.
But it didn't even happen when I
Others.
found out. I ain't even know about that until somebody showed it to me.
Hey.
I
All
don't know
right.
how you handle it.
So,
A permit each time you do it. I don't know how you handle that aspect.
I don't think
No.
we do.
permit to do what?
If you're gonna have a big fireworks display or a big 4th of July
Well,
thing.
the way we've done some of the other event places, is there's no fireworks.
There's actually is it an outdoor event ordinance? There's an event ordinance that we already have in place that's, and I don't want to put the sheriff on the spot, but
Yeah.
he actually polices that
Yeah.
ordinances. It's a sheriff-controlled ordinance. They have to seek a permit, and there's a lot of requirements that go
Right.
with that to do an event.
Okay.
She has to check on the fireworks part, I
Yeah.
think there's some type
Okay.
of
Okay.
permit.
Okay, so, is it over?
I'll make them.
Is it closed?
If we can, yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Rogers, you understand if you have something where there's gonna be noise, or it's gonna be outside, then you do need to check
Right.
with these
Well-
people, the sheriff, and get a permit.
My goal, I respect my neighbors. I don't want to cause it ain't gonna be no noise.
I know.
I don't want.
I
want you to treat me the way I want to be treated. So-
Mr. Morrow has.
I
I
ain't
do
gonna
have
that
one.
problem.
I do have one other question, and Daniel, maybe I think we had talked about this last time. The road being wide enough to get emergency
Emergency
personnel and stuff down it, but I think a bus was coming out one time about two years ago, 3 years, slid off the road. It was very narrow. And,
The road, they subdivided and widened it out. It's double lane, just
okay.
so all that's been taken care of. Chip Kelly built the whole new road in there, so
Okay.
we got
All right.
all that taken care of.
Any other questions?
No.
Okay.
It's up to you, Steve.
Thank you.
You now.
Say continue.
Well, we probably need to approve the conditional use upon bringing everything up to code.
Needs to meet all the
On the-
code requirement conditions.
On the Cloverleaf.
Clover Valley.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, I'll make that motion that we approve this relating to the fulfillment of all the requirements that we have already in place.
Okay. Second.
Motion by Mr. Gaines, second by Mr. Morrison on the Clover Valley property. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
Now, we have got all the other we have to address at a later date.
We are still going to continue the
Right.
Mount Helm public hearing until next month.
Right.
Do we need to make that a motion?
Please.
All right.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by Mr. Gaines, continue the
Second.
Mount Helm, second by Mr. Morris. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. All right. Ms. Oster.
Thank you. The first thing I have this morning is approval of a letter of request from Bancorp South to destroy Mississippi Development Bank Special Obligation Bond Series 2008 and 2009 and sign the documents. What this is they're paid and presented back to the bank. They send them to us. We just store them, but instead that they said, like they do for a lot of other people, those paid bonds they would destroy. They have to have 2 people that signs off on them before they can do that, and then they send me just a 1-sheet documentation on that, letting us know what has transpired.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Morrow.
Second.
Second by Mr. Cross. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
And I have one thing I need to add. This is for the sheriff.
During the board meeting, I think we'll get a better rate since push this off to the next board.
Okay, we have one item that was pulled off our consent agenda. 2E, which was, yeah, I'm trying to find it.
Fire chief's conference.
Sorry, it was a fire chiefs conference, and that was going to send did I say the wrong thing?
Yeah.
Sorry.
It should have been D, I believe.
Should be what? D?
The one we were sending 3 of them, I think we talked about.
Yeah, it was actually, What is it, Janice?
The fire conference is on item D.
Oh, it's 2D, not 2E.
It's D.
All right, it's 2D. Yeah. Currently, they're asking to send all of our personnel to a conference, and there's concern about all of them being gone at once. So, we need to make sure and keep somebody here.
I agree.
And none of them are
We don't
here
have
today.
anybody to hold the ship down if the three of them are gone. We that thin?
I think we're that thin.
The only one that leaves is Marty.
What have we been doing in the past?
I don't think they've always all three gone.
No, I mean, I don't know.
I make a motion that maybe we do 2 of the 3, and let Bob figure out which 2 want to go.
All right.
Which one rather?
We have a motion by Mr. Morrow
We need to add that to the agenda then.
2. It's on here.
I mean, for it moving to the regular agenda? Or does it make a difference?
Already did it.
Already did it, sorry.
Janice, since this is in June, could it be brought back up on the 15th?
Yeah, we could bring it
We could
back
bring it
on
back on the 15th.
Okay.
To recommend
That'd
that
be
they
that
do
way.
it
Right.
and bring it
I'd
back
agree
on
with
the
Bob, 2 of
15th.
the 3 is fine with me. Just somebody needs to stay
Okay.
home.
Yeah.
We'll let him know and we'll put it back on the 15th.
Okay. All right.
So
I bet you 1 out of 3 don't want to go.
Probably right.
He's got to choose 2.
No, the item E that you pulled off on there.
That was an error.
No, we just need.
That was an error.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. Well, good deal. Do we have an executive session?
Yes, we need to
We do.
discuss that,
All right.
There's probably a couple.
the legal issue. Yeah.
We got 15 minutes. Our demo starts in 15 minutes. So,
All right.
all right, we're gonna have to ask everybody to leave the room for a few minutes. Do I have a motion to discuss need to go into executive session?
So
Motion
moved.
by Mr. Morrow, second by Mr. Morrison. All in favor, say aye. Ayes have it.
Mr. Eagle ear over here can hear me mumble, you know.
Yes, sir.
Hey, man.
Hey, Jay's gonna call you by the wrong name anyway. So it doesn't really matter.
I did good today, man. What
He
you doing?
leaves off half the syllable anyway at the end, so he got to Mar or Marson, you know.
Yeah, I hate that too.
Actually,
Man. Y'all wait till y'all get to start doing that. Yeah.
Actually, there's
I kinda
some
like
that
you
have been, you got, I think, credited for a couple of seconds.
Yeah,
You didn't say a word.
he gets us mixed up back and forth anyway.
Yeah, I can't wait. Y'all have this little task. I don't
I
mind.
kind of like you doing it.
That way you can go back and say, listen, man, I did second that.
Y'all, hey, guys, y'all are on the thing there. I cut it off.
Well, I wouldn't blame her if it was. I'm fixing to do it myself.
I thought we was actually gonna be ahead of the schedule. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. What is our litigations? What we need to?
Follow up what we talked about at the last board meeting.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
To
Right.
Find an attorney who doesn't have a conflict.
Okay. All right.
Make a motion. Well, we'll go with it.
Do Mr. Morrison.
We're good.
He made a motion, I second.
Motion by Mr. Morrow, second by Mr. Morrison to go in executive session for litigation. All in favor say aye. Ayes have it.